How do you get past the fear of injury? This is a tough one. I've struggled with it a lot over the years. I got my first, fairly bad injury in 2019. I dislocated my elbow, and I've never really been, injured from a dirt bike up until that point. So 2019, I've been riding, I don't know, over 5 years, I'd say 7, 8. I don't know. I can't do the math right now, but I've been riding a while, and that was my first injury, and I didn't take it well. Mental head case. Was so upset that I couldn't ride. So upset I was missing out on the races. So upset that I couldn't work out, because that is the same time period where I started my fitness journey, and so I couldn't go slam heavy weights. They put me in a freaking cast, and I was like, what the heck? I just dislocated my elbow. That's no big deal, but apparently it was a big deal. So anyway, it even took a full 18 months before I could do this, and I was driving to a race, and I tried it and I could do it, kind of thing. So anyway, that one didn't go very good mentally, but I just pushed myself. I stayed active. I did what I could. I started running. That is why I started running, was because I couldn't use my upper body, and you can only do so many weighted leg days in a week. So I got past that, and then the following year I dislocated my ankle. I got my foot stuck in my swing arm. I don't know how. I don't know why, but it got stuck, and then I fell over, and my throttle stuck wide open, and it sucked it in and turned it sideways, and yeah. So anyway, I tore a couple ligaments there and fractured it, and I didn't get surgery. I already have issues with that ankle from basketball in middle school, so it didn't make it any worse, in my opinion, because I could still do what I need to do. So I was in a boot for a little bit, still continued to race. It wasn't pleasant, didn't feel very good. And then last round of National Enduro, I was going up a hill, and my bike kicked me, threw me off the bike, and I knew I hit hard, but I didn't know what happened, but I just knew my shoulder really hurt. But I was just I'm gonna finish, whatever. So I sucked it up. Come to find out, I dislocated my shoulder, so I did some little rehab on my own, just kind of, took care of it. It'll be fine. I'm not gonna go to the doctor. I don't need to. And then come January, we were out pre-running for the ride, and I went over a slick sideways log. I do not get along with those kinds of logs, and there's even trails at Panther Creek named after me because of me and my issues with those little bitty logs. So anyway, I wrecked, and I landed just right on my shoulder. It was this one, actually. Landed just right on my shoulder, and it was all I could do to finish it out that day. I didn't really want anybody knowing that I was hurt, because I was not happy by no means, because this is January, season starts in February. And so anyway, I toughed it out throughout that day, and the pain just got worse and worse and worse, and I thought it was going to be similar to what happened at the last NEPG in Alabama. I thought I could nurse it back, so I took some time with it, gave it about a month, and it was getting worse. I could not lay flat in my bed without my shoulder falling out. I couldn't put my shirt on by myself. I could barely wash my hair. I could barely lift my arm up to shave my armpits. It was not going good. So I finally decided to go to the doctor. Well, I went to the doctor, and I had a heck of a time with insurance trying to get approval on an MRI. I had to go do PT. So I went and did PT, did 6 weeks of that, no progress, because obviously I had a problem. We both knew that, me and my therapist did. So go back to the doctor, and I get referred to another doctor. So I go to another doctor, and we get caught up to speed. Insurance still wants me to go try to do more PT. I go do more PT, and then he refuses to put in for an MRI, this doctor does, because he tells me I'm not working hard enough in physical therapy. Not working hard enough. And in this whole time period, this was May, this happened in January. So I hadn't ridden a dirt bike in 5 months. 5 months. So, anyway, I called my physical therapist crying, telling him that they told me I didn't work hard enough and I need to do more therapy. So my physical therapist was able to get me in with a different doctor, and because he knew I wasn't faking it. Like, he's been my physical therapist since I was like 13 years old. Like, he knows. So anyway, he got me in. I got an MRI, and within 2 weeks of that, I had surgery. And I actually tore my labrum, and it was a lot worse of a repair than what they were expecting. Ended up getting 6 anchors put in instead of 2, and that doctor actually did a dang good job. It was the best recovery I've ever had from an injury. Like, he set me up for success. He gave me what my PT plan was going to be with my physical therapist, what my at-home plan was going to be, what I could do at the gym, and when I could do it, and like for the whole 18 weeks, or whatever it was. And he set me up for success, and I followed through and did the work required, and I got released to start riding a month and a half sooner than I was originally supposed to. So that was pretty cool. And then so I eased my way back into racing. I didn't jump right into it. I just kind of took my time. Had a very extra long preseason, is what I called it. Like, I was stoked. And then come February, I was going to do GNCCs that year. This is going to be my first year doing GNCCs. This is in 2022. So the following season. Ready to go, super stoked, like pumped up for the season. Like, I'm feeling good, feeling strong. Like, my shoulder bothered me a little bit, but not too bad. Like, I was ready. My elbow stopped hurting and I could hold on more. I had full mobility by that time. And my goal for that season was I just want to finish the season. Like, I want to complete the entire season. Because the injuries that I had in the recent years had knocked me out for months on end, where I couldn't complete a series. And so it was so frustrating to me to not be able to complete a series. I just wanted to finish a freaking series. And that was my goal. And I started to notice that I was like trying to be safer, is what I would tell myself. Safer by going slower and not going the speed that I was capable of going. And so, like, I was holding myself back, and that's super frustrating. Like, especially when you know you're doing it, but you can't like stop your mind from telling yourself to like slow down. Like, you don't need to be going that fast. Like, what if you wreck? Like, telling yourself stuff like that. And so, anyway, I battled with that for what felt like forever. And it took, I swear, like 16 races before I felt like I was actually racing again, but I was still going much slower than what I was capable of going. I just like convinced myself maybe everybody got faster and I stayed the same speed, which was wrong, because whenever I got back from my shoulder injury, I was faster on the bike than pre-shoulder injury. So I don't know. But it's weird. The mind does weird things, and you really need to pay attention to that. So anyway, my goal was to finish the season. That's all I cared about. I didn't care how I did, which is wrong. Like, we do this to win. We don't do this to finish last, like, or get second. You know, like, we are in this sport to win. So anyway, my mindset was not like thinking correctly. But anyway, come June at Snowshoe, I got hit by another rider on the side, and it shot me off of a rock ledge. And I thought maybe if I gassed it, I could like land it, but it was a 10-foot drop. I landed in a pile of rocks and didn't have like enough momentum or balance. I don't know what you would call it. But anyway, when I say pile of rocks, I mean boulders. It's Snowshoe. So, landed in them, and I got up, and like I immediately knew something was wrong with my hand. Like, pulled my glove off, and I had a little like a busted knuckle. I'm like, oh, I'm just being a sissy. I'm not really hurt. I just busted my knuckle open. It's gonna be fine. So I try to put my glove back on, and I wear really small gloves, and I like tight gloves too. So anyway, I'm putting my glove on, and it pops, and I'm like, oh shoot. I did not say that word. I used a bad word, but We're not gonna use it. And I couldn't get my glove back on, and like my hand was like stuck, and I knew then something was jacked up. Like the amount of pain that just caused, I couldn't even like push my start button or pull in my clutch, and I'm on the side of this mountain, and so I see two kids standing over to the side. I'm like, hey, like come help me start my bike, and so they helped me start it so I could ride down the mountain. Because I honestly don't know where I thought I was gonna go. I mean, you know me, I'm directionally challenged, so I don't know where I thought I was going, but I knew I was in pain, so I was gonna try something. So they helped me start my bike, and then I'm like, that's when I realized I couldn't use my clutch. I'm like, shit, how am I gonna do this? Like, so anyway, I used my right hand, and then like I slowly let it out, and I don't know how, but I eventually figure out how to take off without killing the bike. And so I start going down the hill, and then like all the bumps in my hand, I'm like, this hurts. Like I couldn't even hold on. So I ended up killing the bike, and then I'm like, crap, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like I can't start it, and I tried to start it, and like I'm halfway down the mountain, and the kids are way up here, and they're not paying attention to me no more. So I see a truck at the bottom of the hill. I thought, well, I'm just gonna push myself to this truck. So I lay my hand on the bars and I push myself to the truck. And so my hand's on the bars and I'm pushing myself down the mountain to the truck. And it's actually a snowshoe worker, which is good because I don't know what I thought I was doing. Like, I don't know where I am. So anyway, I tell him I'm hurt and I need help and like I'm in a lot of pain and I'm like crying by this point because like I'm telling you, the pain was bad. And so anyway, he's like, well, just get in my truck and I'll take you up to the medics and this and that. I'm like, okay, what about my bike? Is somebody going to steal it? And he wasn't too concerned about it, but I was. Like, I didn't want nobody stealing my bike. But anyway, he radioed to somebody and somebody came and got it and they parked it outside of wherever the building was that they helped me in. So anyway, I'm in this building for like 3.5 hours. Like, a long time because it's a mess. Like there's drunks falling down the mountain hurting themselves, and some girl broke her femur from literally falling down the mountain. Wasn't even racing, but she was just like walking down the mountain, probably under the influence, and broke her femur. So anyway, like my priority was not very strong. So anyway, I'm just getting really annoyed, really pissed off. Like I just like let me leave is what I wanted to do. Just like, let me go find my people. I'm going to take care of this when I get back to Missouri because this is not cool. And they couldn't even really tell me what was wrong. So, other than if it turned purple, I needed to go to the emergency room on my way home. So, anyway, get back home. Go to urgent care. They tell me I have an infection in my hand. Well, I don't have an infection in my hand. Couple weeks goes by, I pull some strings with a customer that gets me into an orthopedic, and turns out I dislocated, I don't remember the name of the joint, but basically it's your thumb joint where it meets your wrist. And they said they couldn't put it back in without surgery because it just popped back out because it'd been out for so long. And so we did surgery, we pinned it, I tore a ligament, they fixed that, and whatever. That recovery was not good. It's still not good. I still have a lot of issues. It doesn't matter right now, but anyway. That injury broke me. Like, literally, mentally put me in a very, very, very bad spot. Like, all I wanted to do was get back on the bike. I wanted to finish the season. I wanted to get enough points to, like, actually finish out the season. That's all I cared about. And so I pushed the limits a little bit too much. And I returned to racing. I had an agreement that if I could do, see, I'm not very good still. And this kind of hurts. If I could do this, I could race. But I have, like, no hand grip. So anyway, I got back on the bike way too soon. And, do I regret it? I don't know, because I don't know if my recovery would be any different, like, honestly. So I get back on the bike, and I race a GNCC. Everything goes mostly okay. I mean, I hit it a couple times. It hurt really bad. Whatever. Everything mostly went okay. So I got a little bit too cocky and thought I'd go to the National Enduro. the next weekend. So I go to the National Enduro, and it's super tight and like really hard on your hands. And I actually end up getting a pretty gnarly concussion, like breaking my helmet on a tree kind of thing. Like I ended up quitting, and I don't quit, but like one of my pit people was like, "Hey, like you are not healthy right now. Like you hit your head, you're not making sense. Like you need to stop." So I stopped, I got off the bike, I quit, and I was a freaking mess. Like, I don't quit dirt bike races, especially over a concussion. Like, I know concussions are serious, but like, whenever you hit your head, like, at least when I hit my head, I'm in like massive denial. I don't know why. Probably that's the same way I am with injuries. Like, whatever. Just push through, it'll be fine. So, anyway, at that point in time, I thought I was gonna be done racing forever. Like I was ready to quit. I was ready to never touch a dirt bike again. Like I was not in a good place mentally, and so I had to do a lot of like talking to myself, sitting with myself, being very uncomfortable with myself, kind of things, to decide if racing's what I really wanted to continue doing and why I did it, and if it's worth the risk. And then it dawned on me, I can get hurt doing anything. Like, I'm a disaster waiting to happen. And if you know me, you know that. Like, last year I dropped a canopy on my foot and broke it. And I also got ran over by a trailer. Did not break anything, but my ankle was really jacked up. I got very fortunate on that, and it took a little bit. But, like, I'm an accident waiting to happen. I don't know why. I'm a klutz, whatever you want to call it. Like, shit happens. So, whenever I accepted that, like, that injury can happen no matter what I'm doing, and that, like, racing dirt bikes, I love it. Like, there's just some things, nothing actually matches it. Like, I love riding, but you can't beat what it's like to compete. Like, it's different. And so, I decided that the following year, which is now, that was last year, actually. I almost got confused. I thought we were on this year. No, it was last year. It took a little bit because whenever I first started the season, my hand was still pretty bad. Like it didn't feel very good. It was all I could do to hang on and finish a race. But by like summertime, I think I just got used to the pain enough that it didn't matter. And like Dr. Tanner helped me with a lot of things on it too, as far as like helping me get through some of the earlier races. And so anyway, like halfway through the season, I finally like flipped that light switch back on where I was there to compete. I was not there to just do like dilly-dally around the track. Like that is not fun. Like knowing you're holding yourself back because you're scared of getting hurt, that is not fun and that's not healthy. So I decided to I just flipped that switch in my head and like I'm not gonna get my ass kicked no more. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna push myself and I'm gonna go race. And so we had a lot of good racing during summer break and like I felt really good and this and that and then I smashed my face on a rock, got a pretty gnarly concussion and a black eye. So I took some time off again, but like it was in the middle of summer, so it wasn't a big deal kind of thing. I finished the season and come Ironman, like I literally cried at the finish line and I think I got second that day. I'm pretty sure I got second, but like I fought for the second. I sprinted my ass off for the last lap, trying to put distance between me and the girls behind me because we were battling most of the race. And I sprinted and I rode so hard. And when I crossed that finish line, I cried because I finally finished the season and I also pushed myself and I didn't hold myself back from being scared of getting hurt. And so like I just try to take that mentality with me now. I like if I feel like I'm out there just like screwing around and not racing, I try to like just channel like it's fun going fast, it's fun kicking ass, it's not fun getting your ass kicked. So like if you're capable of going faster, go faster and just suck it up and don't worry about getting hurt, because if you're worried about getting hurt, that's exactly what's going to happen. So you just need to focus on what you can control, and you can control your effort. So that's what I was trying to do. You just got to control your effort and the things you can control. And like, I have a lot of injury maintenance that I got to do still with every injury I've had. Like, you got to take care of yourself, and you got to train, and you got to build muscle, and every little thing helps preventing injuries. So like, whenever you look at how do you get past the fear of getting hurt, you got to remember that. Are you doing everything in your power that you're able to do to prevent injury? Or are you just, just showing up on race day and hoping all goes well? Like, do your homework, guys. And so, anyway, I don't know. You got to do the mental work. You got to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. And you really, 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 really gotta want it. Like, you gotta want to be out there, and you gotta accept the fact that anything can happen no matter what. It's the risk we take, just like driving to the race. Like, right now, like, anything can happen no matter what you're doing. Even at work, like, sitting at your desk, like, your chair could break. That's happened to me. Like, anything can happen, guys. Just go out and live your life, and don't hold yourself back. It's not worth it. It's not. So, this is a very long rant, and I'm sorry, but I'm super passionate about it, because I don't know how many other people struggle with it, but I struggled with it for years. And, like, it's still something, like, I can catch myself slipping, and I got to reassess and re-talk to myself about it and make sure we're all good. But, like, mental. Everything is mental. Like, any sport, it's mental related. So, that's all I got on this one. If you survived the 22 minutes of this, thank you. I'm sorry.